Hi, and welcome to another appointment with Going Expat. This is Rossella, and today my guest is Denise. Hi, Denise.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
All good, thank you. Thank you for being here. So, Denise is American and she lives in the Netherlands. She moved here almost 1 year ago, but not yet 1 year, if I'm not wrong. And today she's gonna talk a little bit about her experience as an American in the Netherlands, but also as an entrepreneur. So we are gonna let Denise introduce herself and telling a little bit about, yeah, who is she? So hi Denise, who are you?
Hi, I'm Denise. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. I lived near Seattle for about 19 years before moving to the Netherlands. I am currently living in Haiti.
Why the Netherlands, if I may ask?
Um, the visa process was simple and straightforward. It didn't seem too complex. It was the
Okay,
kind of thing that I hired a firm to do it for me, but I asked them straight up, is this the kind of thing I could do myself? And they said yes. It's really if you want to do it yourself, you can. It's not that hard. But I
okay.
wanted to make sure that it was done correctly, so I had somebody do it. Um, it was easier to get. It was not an expensive visa to get, and um, I didn't speak Dutch when I landed. I'm still learning Dutch, but it was a
Mhm.
country that I could land in and I could get around in English while
Yes,
I was learning the language.
yes.
Um, and I had asked people that I knew that had been to the Netherlands, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's beautiful, and the people are wonderful, and yes, you'll like it. It'll be a great adventure."
Okay. You have anticipated a little bit what was my next question. And
Mhm.
of course, I want always to underline that anything that we're going to say today is based on Denise's experience. And if people want to move to the Netherlands, it is important that they at least go and check the official website. The municipalities ones, and if they are not European, the IND website to have all the correct info based on their situation. So, Denise, you say that it wasn't that difficult to move here and to obtain the visa. And specifically, we are talking about the visa that they allow you as a business owner. So, you
Mhm.
came as an entrepreneur, basically. We call it the DAFT, DAFT,
Mhm.
that helps basically entrepreneur moving from the States to the Netherlands. Tell us a little bit about the process.
Um, I applied in July of 2024. I needed to get some documents apostilled, which is
Mm-hmm.
more than just notarization. It's apostillization. It's a slightly different thing. Um, and not all notaries can do it, so I had to figure out where to go for that. But I applied for the visa. I sent them all my documents in July of 2024, and I found out in August of 2024
Wow,
that
that's
it was
very
approved.
fast.
Yeah. Um, so I figured, well, let's apply and see if we get it. And the person I was working with said, oh no, if they don't have an explicit reason to tell you no, they'll give
Mm-hmm.
it to you. Uh, so I was like, okay, let's cool. And I
You
was
say
just sort
so?
of like, yeah, I was sort of like, yeah, okay. And then it comes back and they're like, yeah, you're approved. And I was like, all right, okay. So then I set a moving date for November, which gave me about 60 days to get my
Okay.
affairs in order to get moved.
Okay, okay. Well, that sounds like a very successful story and very fast indeed. Maybe summer was also, I don't know, helping. I don't know. And you say, of course, you work with somebody. So this somebody was a professional, was a lawyer.
Yeah, the company was Minta Law,
Okay,
Mynta, specifically. There,
okay.
I in here in the Netherlands, you can work with. There's people that are lawyers, and there are people that are more like not quite lawyers. They're sort of like paralegals. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Minta was the
Okay,
not
okay,
quite
okay.
lawyers. but I don't know how else to describe it. But they understand the process and the paperwork, and they're based in the Netherlands, and they speak Dutch. So I'm like,
Yes.
okay, cool. I don't speak Dutch. This is going to be with the Dutch government. Let's have a professional handle it. That's how I chose to do it. You can choose to do it yourself or do whatever if
Of
you'd like.
course. Yeah. Yeah. I would say, I mean, having at least a legal advice is always a good way because at least you understand a little bit better what's happening. And in case there are issues, you have somebody who knows the process and can help you out. And as you said, language barrier can become a problem, especially when it's related to legal stuff. I mean, already in our own languages, legal stuff are difficult to understand.
Yeah.
So if you then have also everything in a language that you don't speak at all, it's more difficult. But okay, okay. No, I'm very happy to hear that it wasn't difficult, and then at the end you just had this paralegal person that could help you out, and you are here. So we said you came on a specific visa. You are an entrepreneur, but what's your job? What do you do?
I am a project manager with, I've got change management training and Kanban certification. Basically, I'm a project manager who focuses more on tasks rather than people. But I
Mm-hmm.
also have some training in how to handle the people because you can't, projects are completed by people. And yes, there's things that can and do go wrong sometimes with supply chains or what have you. But a lot of times it comes down to the people. And while your
Mm-hmm.
project is important, I think your people are priceless. So I
Okay.
want to help you manage a project and keep your people from burning out. My background is in information technology, so I'd
Okay.
lean more towards tech projects, but that's what I have experience with.
Okay, this sounds very interesting. And as you say, if you can help, you can also avoid people getting like crazy and burnout. So that's actually good. How can we read about you, your projects? How can we contact you if anybody here is interested?
I've got a
Website?
website at pastelfirebusinessconsulting.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. So everything is gonna be at the description of this video. So if people want to reach you out, they can connect directly with you via LinkedIn or already having a look and already having a look at your website. Great. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's so inspiring to think about somebody who is coming from the other side of the world in a new country completely and in less than 1 year already had a business set up and starting to work in that direction and starting to have clients. I mean, these things normally take very long time. So it's very inspiring to hear that you had done all of it in basically 1 year, considering when you applied for the visa. So maybe the project was already there. Were you already doing freelancing, or you already an entrepreneur when you were back in the States, or you started this career here?
Um, I had gotten laid off from Amazon. They laid off my entire team. And so I
Okay.
went back and I had done some project management at Amazon. And so I went back and got like the project management certificate because you needed to have that in order to get the ProSci change management or change
Okay.
practitioner certification, or if you wanted to get a PMP. I don't have a PMP, but you need that certificate for that. And so I had gone and gotten those credentials, and I thought, well, I'll freelance in the US
Okay.
while looking for another job. And so I was basically starting to set up a corporation there to freelance at the same time I applied for the visa.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure I was going to get the visa, and then the visa came up, and I was like, "Oh, all right." So I was preparing to freelance there.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, good. Everything basically at the end worked out how
Mhm.
it was, maybe it was meant to be. So all these things that happen sometimes, they are just leading us to a direction. We don't know yet, but then we'll figure out, oh, maybe this is why this thing happened. Okay, let's go back a little bit on your experience as an expat in the Netherlands. You said earlier, oh, I didn't speak any Dutch back then. Do you speak Dutch now?
I don't speak a lot. I've got a few words. I can
Mm-hmm.
do. like hello, goodbye, please, thank you, you're welcome. I mean,
Okay.
anybody can learn those, even if you're only coming here for a week. And it does go a long way. So I've been working with like language learning app. I've been
Hmm.
also, this is going to sound silly, but it helps, is watching like kids shows with the subtitles on.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
and so starting to do that, and I'm getting to where when I hear people speak Dutch, I can pick out a word or two here and there. I don't I'm again, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination, I can't carry on a conversation, but I'm starting to get the ear for it.
Okay.
And I'm starting to get from context, if people say something, I'm able to look at them and at least respond back in English. That's something that's coherent. I can get the general idea, even if I
Yeah.
don't know enough
Okay.
Dutch to
Okay.
speak it back.
Well,
Um,
but this is much more than a lot of people can do in the Netherlands. There are so many people that are here for so long who kind of refuse to speak the
mm,
language because they know that they can go around, speaking English 90% of the time with no issues. Again, in your case, it's very inspiring to realize that in less than 1 year, you are already able to understand a little bit the context and you try to say those words, those small sentences. It's
mhm.
really admirable. Well done.
Thank you.
And based on your experience until now, of course, do you think that personally and professionally speaking Dutch already before coming would have helped you in somehow, or would have been the same?
Um, I think it might help. Some of the
Hmm.
things that I've looked at are requesting fluency in Dutch and English. Um, so it can be helpful that way. It will help you any communication that you have with the Dutch government is in Dutch.
Yeah.
So anything for your taxes, you'll get a letter for your bill and things like that. That's all going to be in Dutch.
Yes.
Um, so there are like Google Translate in that, but it can be helpful if you speak that, or if you have somebody who, like, if you maybe you hire an accountant who's fluent in Dutch, and so they can help you work through that. So
Mm-mm-mm.
and I've met some locals here and made some friends, and I've been told that it's always appreciated when you can speak Dutch. They may switch back to English with you, but
Yes.
the locals do appreciate it if you can speak
Yeah,
Dutch.
they
So
do. Yeah, they do. And the moment you start to speak a little bit more and then you kind of insist a bit on not switching, they actually like it. Also because I believe that they feel more even people who speak English properly, they still feel more comfortable speaking their own language, or there are some technicality that is a little bit more difficult to explain in a different language. Again, even though if you're fluent in that, but if you're not used to talk about that topic in another language, then it becomes a bit hard. So yeah, okay. And do you think that personally would have helped you, or you are quite happy with your social life for now?
help. There's certain things that I'm looking at, like, oh, that'd be fun to do, but it's in Dutch, and I don't want.
Yeah.
I'd have to make everybody switch to English for me. I don't want to do that. So there's certain things that I could do that might be more fun if they
Okay.
certain
Okay.
certain social things I could go do if I could speak the language,
Yeah,
and I don't
okay.
yet.
So that might be a tip for the people who are listening to us. It might not be the first thing to do when you think to move to the Netherlands, but consider that at a certain point it will be better speak Dutch from a professional and personal point
Mhm.
of view, I guess.
Yes, and
Okay.
if you're planning on staying here longer term, they do expect you to learn Dutch, at least to a certain level. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, and tell us, what do you like the most and the least of this country?
Oh. For me, the slowness was kind of interesting. That is to say, I'm used to the States and you can order things and they show up quick. When I moved into my apartment and I ordered my bed, they're like, okay, we can deliver it first availables in 7 weeks. And I'm like, what am I going to sleep on for 7 weeks? I ordered the dining room table and chairs, and like we get the chairs to you in 4 weeks, we get the dining room table to you in five. And I'm like, okay, so larger purchases like that take a while to get to you. And that was a surprise because again, in the States, if you've got Prime, you can order whatever on
Oh,
Amazon and 2 days and it's there.
okay.
So, it's that took a little getting used to. Um,
Yes, I guess so. Yeah, it's a
that
big difference.
and that, and they don't, I've had colds a couple of times, and they don't necessarily have as much over the counter here as they
Mm,
did in the US. And I suspect that in the US they expect you to push through it, and here they expect you to rest,
mm.
which is a little bit different. Um, I've heard people say paracetamol cures all, and I'm like, take some tea and rest, and that's really the best thing to do if you're sick.
Yeah.
But coming from the US, it's all, well, if you can work from home, we still expect you to be productive, kind of a stuff. So giving
Yes,
myself the
yes.
grace to rest. Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
guess the
that's been
work-life
changed.
balance. Sorry.
Mhm. Oh, sorry. No, that's it. Yeah, the work-life balance is better, but it takes some getting used to.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, if you're used to go like to a certain pace, then it's like how do you slow down? How do you really take time for yourself whenever you kind of need it? And now that you're working for yourself, I mean, you basically you basically
Hmm.
do everything the way you want to do. So I get that it starts to be difficult in a way to adapt to this kind of mentality. So I like that part. I mean, I really enjoy that part because in Italy might not be as the US in the sense as productivity because okay, there is also this stereotype of la dolce vita that we do like the sweetness of doing nothing, etc., etc., which doesn't really apply to people who live in Italy. It's more for the tourists, but uh, yeah, generally speaking, okay, we might be a little bit more slow in the thing we do during the day. Our days are longer in the sense compared to the north of Europe, but we still had these things of like being very productive and working extra hours because that means that you care, which here in the Netherlands is not really the case. I mean, you have to care about your own life beside
Hmm.
and despite your job. So, and that's a thing that it was a kind of cultural shock for me, but I had to say I got used to that super easily. I like it.
That was part of the reason why I wanted to move, actually, was to be able to have that balance.
Yes, yeah, and
Yeah.
not to justify, people understand. They are gonna say, "Of course, rest."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice. Is there anything that you miss from home, except I believe family, of course?
Uh, mm.
It's taking time.
I can make ranch dressing. That's not hard. Um, I haven't tried to find hot dogs here. I mean, they have them here, but they're packed more like sausages are packed here in the US. So when I find them here and they're in cans, I'm like, this is not how we would eat hot dogs in the US. So I've not tried that yet,
Okay.
um, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, I had very few things that I've been like, I have a craving for whatever, and I can't find it. So
Okay. Yeah, well, makes sense. No, I understand that. It's also true that it's not that long that you are here, so like really missing something maybe takes a little bit more time. In this time, you are discovering, enjoying, and you are like in this, yeah, discovering mode.
mhm.
And you are learning about how to grow with your business. So you're so busy with other things that are new, you might not have that much time to think about, oh, what do I miss? So, okay. Last question, Denise, and actually more than a question is like an invite to tell people what is your tip. So, what do you think? What do you want to say to people who, like you, are considering to move to the Netherlands? Besides the reason, but what do you think if people will ask you, okay, what is your suggestion if I want to move to the Netherlands tomorrow? What will you say?
um, I would say be flexible on where you want to live because there is a housing shortage,
Yes.
and most people want to be in the Randstad, which is like Harlem, Utrecht, Amsterdam, and
Yeah.
Rotterdam, like those four major cities. Most
Yes.
people want to be there. So you may struggle to find places there, or if you have your heart set on a specific city, you may struggle with it. So you may have to be open to um, nearby those places.
Hmm.
And there's other cities like Eindhoven is got a back. I mean, Philips was based there. So if you're looking for tech, that's possible. That's a possibility. So, be a little flexible with that. And then I had to pay, because you're coming here and you don't have a rental history, I had to pay 6 months rent up front, in
Okay.
addition to my first and last month's rent when I first moved in. So you may have to do that when you get here.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Be financial prepared before moving is absolutely needed because of the house shortage for now, at least.
Mhm.
And flexibility. I mean, I guess that goes for every country in the world where you go. So, as I said earlier, everything about moving to the Netherlands is in the official website, and you can, of course, contact me if you need any help. All information are in the description of this video, as well as the contacts of Denise. So you can find her on LinkedIn, and you can also have a look already at her website. Thank you so much, Denise, for being here and for sharing a little bit about your life and work. And I talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you for
Bye.
having me. Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye bye.